All right. Well, I don't know how long we've been going here, but I'm just going to make this last little part quick about Mr. Baker Mayfield. What a ride Baker's been on, huh? He goes through this whole thing with Cleveland. He thinks this is the team. He thinks that, he's got commercials on commercials about how it's his house, and then he finds himself in the midst of a crazy, crazy circus. I don't think the Browns were wrong for what they're doing. I think Deshaun Watson is a top 5 talent, and I think that they had every right to go and do that. It seems like it's going to work out maybe one day, not this year, but maybe one day. I think the Browns next year, let's see what they can do in the draft and free agency and things like that. So I'm interested in the Browns more so than I am the Panthers, and that's why I kind of feel bad for Baker. I feel like he went from a bad situation to a bad situation. I just went on a rant about in the last down. I'm just not crazy about the Carolina Panthers and Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore and Baker Mayfield. I think they have a bad season. I think they get owned by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their division pretty easily, and they could sneak out some wins against the other teams in there because the Saints and the Falcons are nothing to write home about. The Falcons will be one of the worst teams. But I'm not crazy about it. And, you brought Baker in because you weren't big on Sam Darnold. Well, now what do you do with Sam Darnold? I mean, are you just holding on to him because you wanted to in case Baker doesn't look good? Well, that's I don't know. It's a weird dynamic in that quarterback room. I would love to be a fly on the wall, but I just don't know what you do with him. You could trade him. I don't know if anybody would give you much for him, and I don't know what teams will be looking for him. Same thing goes for Jimmy G. Another interesting storyline too that we really haven't had closure on is Jimmy G. He's still looking for a trade. They've said it's Trey Lance's team, so we've got to just accept that. The team that you would imagine the most obvious one is the Seattle Seahawks that would want Jimmy G. Now, that's in San Francisco's division. Well, they're not going to do that. They're going to trade him in the division. Oh, my goodness. Bless me. They're not going to trade him in the – do I got boogies? They're not going to trade him in the division to watch him go succeed twice a year. That doesn't make any sense. So I wrote down some other teams. I mean – with what happened to Zach Wilson with his knee and where the Jets are with as far as, what they drafted and the way that they have kind of envisioned their new season, I could see them come into a decision of, look, Zach Wilson's great and he's going to be here, but let's bring Jimmy in so that this year isn't a total loss, and let's try to get better. Same thing with the New York Giants. Let's say Daniel Jones comes out and looks bad. Are they just going to tank again, or are they going to say, man, let's try to bring in something new. Let's try to fix this. So I put the New York Jets and the New York Giants on here. The Seattle Seahawks, I think, are obvious to me, but who knows? And then I put some teams on here that are interesting, and I very much doubt it. However, injuries or just not living up to the potential, especially with the first one. I'm sneezing, I'm coughing. What the fuck is going on here? Got monkeypox all on this bitch. I'm just kidding. I don't have any monkeypox. So dumb. Such a dumb thing. You can't just throw an animal and then put pox behind it and be like, now this is a disease. Oh, he's got the gorilla pox. It's worse than the monkeypox. Shut your fucking mouth. But Miami, with Tua, obviously with the picking up Tyreek Hill and everything else that we've heard about the tampering with Tom Brady, Miami wants to win. I think that's the biggest thing we got out of this Brian Flores thing is that wanting to lose is not really in their wheelhouse because they were willing to go and get in trouble for Tom Brady. They were going to make Tom Brady part owner for as long as he would come and sling the rock for him. That means you want to be a winner because that's what Tom Brady is. So I don't think Miami wants to lose, and I think that if they lose games early, it might put a lot of pressure on Miami to go, look, let's go get Jimmy G. He's better than Tua because I think he is. I think Jimmy's better than Tua. And I think that if Tom Brady is the plan for next year, well, then Jimmy G's right back in the same spot. He's holding the spot. He'll go out there and play well, but Tom Brady's coming back. Just like those 4 games that we had where Jimmy G came in and took over. It's still Tom Brady's house, and I think Miami might be Tom Brady's house next year, but we'll see. New Orleans, is Jameis 100% healed up? I don't know. And do they start off kind of on the wrong foot and go, Jameis isn't our guy for the future. However, Jimmy might be. That's a spot where Jimmy could end up in a good situation and find a home and actually play really well. I could see that being a good trade for both the Saints and Jimmy Garropolo. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, they spent a first-round pick on Kenny Pickett. They like Kenny Pickett. I know that he's been doing well. And they also went and got Mitchell Trubisky for a cheaper deal, but still gave him a 2-year deal. They are going to start him. They have Mason Rudolph, kind of a crowded quarterback room. However, I would argue that the minute Jimmy G walks in the room, he's the best one in the room. So Pittsburgh has never had a losing season under Mike Tomlin. Let's just say they start off on the wrong foot. I could see maybe potentially in a crazy turn of events that being a trade that's out there. Cleveland Browns. I've heard this rumor. I just don't understand why. I think the Browns have accepted what this season is. This season is a loss. We're taking the loss here. All three of these the Cleveland Browns, the Houston Texans, and the Atlanta Falcons. I think they all might be accepting defeat to some extent, that we're not going to win a Super Bowl this year. We might be competitive, but we're not going to win a Super Bowl. So that being said, I don't really understand why they would make the move for Jimmy G, barring Jacoby Brissett breaking a leg and they just don't have a backup, or Davis Mills or Marcus Mariota getting seriously hurt and they don't have a backup. But even in those situations, I would think that then you just, like, Atlanta's this close to being a full tank anyways, right? So how would you not just, Marcus Mariota goes out, you go, fuck it. Just fuck it. Whoever's the quarterback's the quarterback. We're going to win. We're going to lose every game. We're going to go get CJ Stroud, and that's our guy of the future. I think there's those two quarterbacks of Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are very tempting to everybody that's in that market of let's just lose. I hope that happens to Cleveland, because if Cleveland loses, we have their first-round pick, so we would have our very good first-round pick and their very good first-round pick. If we could have 2 picks in the top 10, top 5, if we could have the first pick and the third pick, it's music to my fucking ears. But yeah, just some interesting things that are kind of, what do you do with Sam Darnold? Does Sam Darnold fall into one of these places? Does New Orleans or Atlanta think that they can make it work with Sam Darnold if one of their quarterbacks go down? It's interesting. It's an interesting, a couple of people that are left in the air is Jimmy G and Sam Darnold. They're kind of still floating above our heads. We don't really know when they're going to come down. But boy, I can't wait. I have